find yourself holding on to a grudge with somebody when actually you forget why? If so, this is a video where I want us to explore kind of the reasons maybe why you do it, but more so ways that you can learn to move forward and to allow yourself to let it go. Literally, let it go. This video is a massive thank you to Christine Maragkakis. Chris works as a life coach for Simply Be Retreats, and it's through her podcast that allows me to just realise how important certain topics are, such as this one. So thank you, Chris. What can happen sometimes is different situations, and we're all individuals, so there are so many different scenarios out there. But it could be something like, how dare he ignore me? Or I can't believe the waitress spoke to me like that. Or I can't believe that they didn't invite me. And what happens is we find these certain situations where we're treated unfairly. And then what happens sometimes, for some of us, most of us, is that we can then start to chew on it, and we tell our story to other people. And when we're telling our story to other people, it's because we want them to hear our side, and we want them to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that, or they did what, or how did they react? And all the time they're feeding you because you're looking for that validation to be, look, I'm the victim, I've been treated so poorly here, that it's allowing you to get more and more high up on your horse. But actually, the thing that I want us to do is just realise how exhausting it is to hold a grudge, when actually that person that you might have a grudge against might not even know you have one. So all of those feelings obviously will have that negative impact on us, where we're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, sad, angry, furious. And that will take its toll on us. Now, the hardest thing is, and I say this with nothing but respect, when it comes to somebody that's spoken to us or treated us like this, the matter of the fact is what's done is done, okay? It is what it is. However, you have got one big thing that you can do. You can choose the way you respond. And I've got some strategies in how you can play that right. What we do need to do is we do need to remind ourselves that when somebody else has done something wrong, let's just double check actually to make sure that actually, did they do it on purpose? Did they do it on purpose? Did they intend to purposely upset you? Or did they do it with malice? Were they nasty with it? Because sometimes what happens is it might be somebody's, and don't get me wrong, this isn't right, but it might be that somebody's shouted at you or kind of tried to correct you with something, when actually maybe they didn't necessarily mean to get it across like that. Maybe it was just them having a really bad day and they were trying to get it across to you that just didn't come across in the right way. So sometimes we need to just back it up. And sometimes we need to think to ourselves, actually, who's the one with the problem here? Is it me, or actually is it you that's having the bad day and you're taking it out on me? Sometimes just putting that gap can sometimes just allow you to put on those compassionate glasses where you try and think actually what's going on for them rather than it being always about you. So instead of feeling that outrage, bitter, furious, sadness, overwhelmed, what I want us to do is hit the pause button. Actually, by pressing pause and just actually literally looking at the situation, I just want you to explore what's the reality, okay? What is the reality? Yes, you might feel as if you're the victim. Yes, you might feel as if this is what's happened and but actually, what is the reality? Because you might think that they're being nothing but rude to you and giving you, evil looks and things like that. But are they? Are they really? Because sometimes what happens with our heads and with our minds is that what we're searching for, we will find. If we're having a bad day, we will find things to reconfirm that we're having a bad day. So just with that reality check of us learning to try and find out the reality of it, just pause and actually try and find the evidence that kind of is allowing you to see it from that kind of from your point of view, and kind of just gathering that evidence will allow you to recognize what's the reality here. My next strategy is I want us to take responsibility. It's all very well kind of putting the other person at fault and we're the victim, but actually it takes two to tango, okay? So when it comes to this particular situation, this argument, whatever it might be, actually I want you to take responsibility, because there will have been, whether you like it or not, there will have been maybe parts that maybe you could have fed it or reacted or just kind of kept it going, or you might have said things that allowed that person to blow up even more. So it's just about recognizing and taking responsibility yourself. My next strategy is about cry it out. Crying is such a good thing, and sometimes we need to find those triggers to allow us to cry. So I always love maybe listening to certain songs or watching certainly the end of a movie, because if somebody walks in and you're crying, why are you crying? Well, it's because I'm watching the movie, when actually I just want to have a really good cry. But sometimes just having that ability to cry it out, it might also be through art, it might literally be drawing, or it might be writing. Just allow yourself to express those emotions, to get them out. My next strategy is I want you to reflect upon your expectations. So if this is a friendship or a relationship that has kind of got maybe a bit tense, or whatever they're doing is really annoying you or things like that, I just want you to kind of just have a quick review of your expectations. And actually, are you expecting too much from somebody? Are you expecting so much from this friendship that actually, I don't know, maybe they're upset because you've I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe you're really annoyed because they've not noticed that you've been upset for the last week, and you know, how dare they call themselves my friend. But actually, do you maybe not think that maybe your expectations of the friendship, of where you think that they should know you so well, that that's maybe a little bit too much of what you expect from them? Because sometimes what happens is that our expectations for people just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, when actually, just take it for what it is and just double check your expectations. This strategy is a really, really big one. I want you to have courage to use your voice. Now, knowing that what is done, and the past is in the past. But what I do want you to do is, if you feel the need to, calmly, appropriately, with timing, either find your voice to let that person know, or allow yourself to find that voice that in the future that won't happen again. So it's just about learning from this particular situation. So if you feel as if you need to be able to say to that person, do you know what you said a few weeks ago, or you know what you said last week or yesterday, do you know what, that really upset me. So kind of find that courage to use your voice. Or if it's because of a situation that's happened in the past, I want you to have that courage to use your voice in the future, so then it's able to say there and then to that particular person, hang on a minute, I'm not okay with this. And having courage to use your voice is a really, really tough one, you know. But it's one of those things that your future self will thank you for. And my last strategy is I would like you to let it go. Now, what I'd encourage you to do is I'd encourage you to find the right place, time, space, where you can almost allow yourself to visualize letting it go. Now, whether that is you actually meet up with that person and without telling them, you just allow them to just let it go, or it might be to do like a celebration or something like that, but just let it go, because the only thing that's holding you back possibly right now is that grudge. The fact that maybe those friends called you so many nasty names so long ago, that how dare they, let it go. Let it go. Find forgiveness for you to be able to move on, okay? This is your life, not theirs. And I need you to sometimes just make sure you're not in your own way. Don't be in your own way. So find that right place, that space. It might be with new friends, but let it go. And if that means breathing, if that means visualizing, if that means having a shower, just really allow yourself to kind of just let it go, and allow yourself that freedom, that feeling liberated as well. You're amazing, okay? We're all human beings, we're all amazing. And if you've been treated unfairly in the past, I'm so sorry. But that doesn't define you and mean that that's always the way that you're going to be treated. I just need you to be able to move on, to realise that that's what happened then. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen next. Anyway, you stay awesome, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.